The Furia is an evil avenger. And maybe there's some similarity between the cartoon and the plane.
Фурия.
And actually, this name has quickly taken hold and become a brand name. For 3 years now, the staff of the Kiev scientific and production enterprise Atalon Avia has been working on the UAS Furia. It is designed for intelligence and reconnaissance of enemy positions, as well as target acquisition and correction of fire for artillery units. Furia was created in response to the conditions of the war in Donbass. In May 2014, when the defenders of Ukraine possessed weapons from the previous century, the first flight of this unmanned aerial vehicle took place.
Глядя на то, с чем начинали,
Look at what we started the ATO with. It was some DJI Phantom with a GoPro camera at best. And look at what we have now. It's a far cry from that. Contemporary machines are tenfold better. Furia is an example.
что касается
As for battlefield experience in the ATO zone, it started with the battalion Donbass, who were the first to use the system for a combat mission. Since then, more than 30 unmanned aerial systems were shipped and operated by the National Guard, the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the Security Service of Ukraine, regiments of Dnipro 1, Azov, and Adar battalions. Moreover, special units of the same name, Furia, operate in the ATO zone. It is these guys who gave the unit the name of the plane. Enhancement of the unmanned aerial system Furia has been taking place not in the rear, but in battlefield conditions. In the summer, in the winter, in day and night, and in windy and cloudy conditions, the units have achieved success. Thanks to Furia, the creation of Atalon Avia, lots of enemy positions and dozens of pieces of enemy equipment were destroyed in the east of Ukraine.
первоначально
Initially, there was no parachute landing, and control stations were designed differently. The antenna system has changed 100%. A year ago, the antenna system was sufficient for any task, except for armed forces. It's just not a military design. The first aircraft was made on the basis of an American drone and made from foam plastic. The system itself was made entirely of foreign components and mechanisms. In June of 2014, UAS Furia successfully passed all the necessary tests at the State Research and Testing Center of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, where the system was given an okay to be used by the Army. The manufacturer received feedback on refinement and additional supplies of the system. Since then, every new version of the Furia has become more and more advanced.
мы обеспечили.
We provided a good communication channel, and well protected, which is the main point. So no one can break open our command line at all. What we can be proud of within all the ATO is that none of our aircraft were hijacked. The optimal setup for the unmanned aerial system Furia consists of 3 UAVs with daytime and thermal night vision cameras, a ground control and information handling station, and an antenna system with peripheral equipment.
Мы можем
During the flight, we can increase the zoom to such a degree that we can see the identification marks on tanks from at least 800 meters in height.
компания працює над
The company is refining the system that will be capable of providing targeting in a completely automatic mode. They substantially facilitate data handling, providing noise immunity to the UAV, and jamming resistance. At the same time, manual control mode gives UAS Furia capability to operate even in difficult radio environments. Now, the staff of Kiev Scientific and Production Enterprise Atalon Avia consists of approximately 20 specialists. Everybody knows his tasks and fulfills it with maximal output. The complete process, from development and production of hundreds of parts to the final assembly, is performed in Ukraine. Applying of composite materials allows Furia to be practically invisible for the enemy radar and to work in the most severe conditions.
Используются
The materials we use are the same ones used in the aircraft industry: carbon, Kevlar, fiberglass cloth, tars, and different gel coats. Every part has gone through approximately 10 versions until the necessary durability, form, and weight was obtained. For example, one UAV Furia weighs 5 kilos. The plane is capable of gaining the height of 2.5 kilometers. It can reach a speed of up to 130 kilometers an hour and work within a range of up to 50 kilometers from the base. Within the last year, all of the UAV Furias received parachutes for fast and safe landing after the task is completed.
Были проведены испытания посадки.
Parachute landing tests were performed on concrete, on grass, and on solid earth. There were no damages. The plane was completely ready for another flight. So one of our advantages is a landing speed of approximately 3 to 4 meters a second. All operators of the UAS Furia undergo a complex training at the training facilities of Athlon Avia. Just like driving a car, it doesn't come easily to everybody. Therefore, potential pilots need to undergo a preliminary selection.
Для них специально.
Special training programs have been developed for them, and taking into account the fact that our UAS are intended for missile troops and artillery, the program has a 6-week training period that has been developed in cooperation with their specialists. Courses include training in 3 sections: theoretical training, exercises on the simulator, and practical flights of the Furia. UAS crews consist of 4 operators, although crews as small as even 2 can be used in an emergency.
Как показала практика.
In fact, experience has shown that one man can cope with the deployment of the drone. To completely deploy the system, take off, perform the task, and land the aircraft, it's really only necessary 1 person. But we usually recommend 2. This is kind of a minimal crew. It is enough to deploy, and after the task fulfillment, to fold the system down within 10 minutes. Chief Engineer Alexei Gogin has been practicing model aircraft construction and piloting for almost 10 years. That is why he is the head of the training courses for operators who comprehend operational algorithms in a few weeks.
Виїжджаємо на позицію.
Coming to position, 2 operators assembling the plane, initialize it, and launch. 2 others are used for installing the ground station, connecting wires, and equipping everything necessary for the start of the launch. UAS Furia was presented to the general public on January 21st, 2015, and as early as July 22nd, the UAS Furia was adopted into service of the National Guard of Ukraine. In November 2015, the next control tests of the improved Furia were conducted, and where the combat characteristics of the Furia were confirmed.
Первый полет мы
We performed the first flight to determine the day camera resolution, the maximum range determination, the maximal action radius, the duration of the flight, and the reconnaissance ability. And a night flight was also done to establish the performance of the thermal camera. In spite of the windy weather, UAS Furia pleased not only military officers, but also the developers themselves. During the test of the maximum range of the UAV, it traveled from the base more than 50 kilometers and provided a good video signal. Earlier manufacturers declared a range of 30 kilometers. The increase in range of over 20 kilometers has made the Ukrainian armed forces a big fan of the UAV.
У минулому році
Last year, we tested more than 30 different unmanned aerial systems. Among them, only 5 samples passed the preliminary tests. Of course, the UAS Furia was among them.
полный процесс.
The complete production cycle is rather long, but if we're talking about permanent orders, our manufacturers can produce up to 10 unmanned aerial systems per month. Athlon Avia makes large investments in proprietary designs. The best mathematicians, programmers, and developers of Ukraine are working on flight controllers, automatic targeting systems, ciphered command, and data lines. Thus, the system is becoming stronger and more independent. And the permanent improvement of the UAS Furia has led it to be transferred from a small class to a tactical one.
Стоимость комплекса.
The cost of UAS Furia at the time varies from 80 to 120,000 US dollars, and of course depends on the payload. How many thermal night vision cameras, how many day cameras, and so on. The team of Kiev Scientific and the production enterprise Atalon Avia are constantly improving their device. Today, the UAS Furia is a combination of high technologies, scrupulous attitude to quality, and optimal price. Every user receives reliable equipment, a trained group of operators, and quality technical support for the system during operation.